Hello all, welcome to Get Into IAS. So this series is presented by me, Shifnas. So we've dealt with chapter 1 and 2 in our previous videos. So in this video, we are going to deal with chapter 3, Terrestrial Ecosystem. So let's get into the topic. So what is a terrestrial ecosystem? From the word terrestrial, you can understand it is a land ecosystem. So the interactions between organism and its environment in land constitute the terrestrial ecosystem. So nothing but there will be organism and surrounding that organism there will be its physical environment. So the interrelation between these two is called as the terrestrial ecosystem in land. In land, you may find various topographies. For example, there will be valleys, high mountains, plateaus, plains, etc. So, depending on all these and the altitude and latitude variations, the climatic factors will differ. So, the climatic factors plays a very important role in the terrestrial ecosystem. So, dealing with the terrestrial ecosystem, in terrestrial ecosystem, you have tundra, forest ecosystem, Indian forest type, deforestation, grassland ecosystem, desertification, and the last topic is Indian State of Forest Report. So we are going to deal with tundra. So what is tundra? So tundra is basically a barren land which is covered with ice. Barren means there will be nothing in that land. It will be covered only with ice. So hence from this word you can understand tundra will be found on the north and south pole of our earth. So in the north pole, where is the tundra found? So in the north pole, the tundra is found in between the polar ice cap, that is the topmost part of the earth. So over here. So tundra is found in between the polar ice cap and the tree line. There will be a tree line. So in between these two areas, the tundra will be found, specifically the Arctic tundra. So there are two types of tundra. The first one is the Arctic and the second one is the Alpine. There are two types, Arctic and Alpine. So this Arctic tundra is found in between the polar ice cap and the tree line. So in between these two regions, the Arctic tundra is found. Where is it exactly found in our Earth's surface? It is found in Canada, it is found in Alaska, it is found in Russia, especially in European Russian part, Siberia and the islands of Arctic Ocean. So top is the Arctic and below is the Antarctic. So on top you may find on the islands, that is the Arctic tundra. And specifically in South Pole, you may find this tundra to be small when comparing it to the North Pole. Here the area is large, here the area will be very less, especially confined near the oceans, because in the South Pole it will be occupied by ocean. Hence the Arctic region here will be small. So next thing is the Alpine. So we are done with Arctic tundra. Now we are going to deal with the Alpine tundra. So where are these Alpine tundra? This Alpine tundra are found on the high mountains. So if there are high mountain ranges, so on this region the Alpine tundra will be found. Next thing, in Alpine tundra you can see day and night variations because it is found on the top of these mountains, but you cannot find day and night variation in this tundra, I mean this Arctic tundra, because it is entirely found in the North Pole and the South Pole. So the climatic differentiation is hard to find, but in this Alpine region you can find out the day and night temperature variation. Next one is the flora and fauna. So what is this flora? What is this fauna? Flora is basically the plants which grow in that area. So there will be cotton grass, willows and then lichens. Willows are trees and then lichens. So these will be the major dominated plants over there. So what is the animal contribution? There will be Arctic hare and there will be squirrel, Arctic fox. So Arctic hare is basically the rabbit which is found on the Alpine or the Arctic tundra region. Next thing, so most of them have long life. So in those plants and animals, it will have a long life in the tundra region. For example, you may find that the willows, we saw the willows here, right, in the flora region. These willows have a lifetime of 150 to 300 years. They live for a very long period of time, and these plants or animals have thick hair. And then the mammals over here, the mammals found in this tundra region will have large body to compensate the heat loss. It will have large body size, and then it will have small tail and ears. That is, the loss of heat should be reduced. Hence, this loss of heat should be reduced. Hence, you have thick hair, you have small tail, small ear, and a large body size. So, this is the contribution of tundra region. And the last point to be noted down, insects living in this tundra region will have a short life cycle. So, this is to be noted down. So, this is up with the tundra. Let's deal with the forest ecosystem. So, we have dealt with the tundra. So, the next type we are going to deal with the forest ecosystem. So, under a forest ecosystem, there are different kinds of biotic communities. I mean, there are different kinds of living communities inside a forest ecosystem. Hence, the temperature and the ground moisture plays a very important role in the forest formation or forest ecosystem. So, there are different kinds of biotic communities inside the forest ecosystem, and for this forest ecosystem to grow, you need temperature, the optimum temperature, and the ground moisture, that is the water content in the soil, should be maintained. And then there are distribution of trees. So, the distribution of trees is mainly because of the soil, climate, and the topography. Topography means the land may be straight or it may be slanted. So, the distribution of trees is dependent on the type of soil, the climate prevailing there, and the topography of the land. So, forests on the whole are hugely divided into two types. That is the evergreen forest, which will hold leaf throughout the year because it has rainfall throughout the year, and hence it won't shed leaves. I mean, even if it is shedding, the leaves will grow back. And then there is the deciduous forest, which will shed leaf on a definite time to compensate the less amount of rainfall. So, these are the two types of forests in our system. Next one, the earth is divided into various zones. So, the equatorial zone called as the tropical region, and on top of the tropical region, you have the temperate region. So, in this temperate region, you will have broad leaf or needle leaf. So, in this temperate region, you will have trees that have broad leaf and trees that have needle leaf. So, there is the forest ecosystem. So, under a forest ecosystem, it is divided into three types. So, what are those three types? So, under forest ecosystem, you have coniferous forest, you have temperate forest, and tropical forest. So, under forest ecosystem, you have tropical forest, you have temperate forest, and then you have the coniferous forest. So, this arrangement is done north-south or south to north in our earth. So, the next thing is the first forest ecosystem, the coniferous forest. So, where are these coniferous forests found? So, these coniferous forests are found in the cold regions with high rainfall. So, C, remember it as C and C. Coniferous forests are found in cold region with high amount of rainfall, and hence this will have a strong seasonal climate. That is, you can notice the season very well as winter, summer, spring, fall. All these are called as the seasonal climates. So, this can be noted down very well here. And over here, it will have long winter and short summer because it is a cold region, and hence it will have long winters and short summers. And the next thing to be noted down here is it will be evergreen plants. So, the evergreen plants here are spruce, fir, and pine. Already we saw we can divide the forest into evergreen and deciduous. Over here, the evergreen plants, that is, it is having high rainfall, and hence it will have evergreen plants. Evergreen plants are spruce, fir, and pine. The next thing is the animals. What are the animals found in the coniferous forest? So, in the coniferous forest, to withstand the long winters, it will have wolf, red fox, bear. So these are already the huge animals that are found in the coniferous forest. Next, moving on to the type of soil present in the coniferous forest. So what are the type of soil present here? The soil over here is poor because the weathering process here is very slow due to the cold conditions prevailing in the coniferous forest, and then the litter, the leaves will fall sometimes, right? So the evergreen plants will shed their leaves at some point of time. That is called as the litter or the waste part. This litter has low nutrients, and hence only low nutrients keep adding to the soil, and hence the soil is poor. Next thing is the soil will be acidic and mineral deficient. We already saw the soil is mineral deficient because the leaf has low nutrients, and hence why it is acidic. Why it is acidic means the soil has large amount of water in the soil. I mean the soil has moving water present inside it, and hence this water makes the soil acidic, and hence there is no evaporation. So if the evaporation process is happening in the soil won't be acidic. So evaporation is not happening in coniferous forest region, and hence the soil becomes acidic. And the next point to be remembered is the productivity and community stability is low. Because the soil is poor, so hence the productivity will be low and community stability will be low. So these are the key points to be noted down under the coniferous forest. So under forest ecosystem, we dealt with the coniferous or boreal forest. So now under forest ecosystem, we are going to deal with temperate deciduous forest, temperate evergreen forest, temperate rainforest. So after seeing this, let's move into the other forest. So what is a temperate deciduous forest? So it is in the temperate region. I already said here, the earth is divided into various zones. This is the tropical zone, and these two are the temperate zones. And in this temperate zone, specifically, it is the deciduous forest. So in this temperate deciduous forest, you have a moderate climate and you have broad leaves present in here, and these leaves shed during the fall, and then new leaves start growing during the spring season. And then the precipitation, I mean the rainfall, will be uniform throughout this region. I mean in this region and in this region, the precipitation will be uniform, and then the soil is quite deep in here. So these are the key points to be noted down under the temperate deciduous forest. The next forest will be temperate evergreen forest. So we saw about deciduous forest, now we are going to see about temperate evergreen forest. So what is a temperate evergreen forest? So you have already learnt about the types of climate in our earth. In that you know about the Mediterranean type of climate, which has warm, dry summers. Usually the summers will be accompanied by rainfall, but it is the opposite in Mediterranean type of climate because summers will be dry in condition. So there will be warm, dry summers and cool, moist winters in Mediterranean type of climate. And then over here the leaves will be low, broad leaf, and the trees are evergreen trees. So it will be low, broad leaf and evergreen trees because it is evergreen forest. And the last thing under temperate is temperate rainforest. So in temperate rainforest, the rainfall is high because it is a rainforest and the fog will be heavy. Over here in temperate rainforest, the diversity is high. I mean the plant and animal species will vary. The diversity will be huge, so the diversity will be huge when comparing to the temperate evergreen forest and the temperate deciduous forest, but the diversity will be definitely low when compared to the tropical rainforest, because already you know there are more than 50% of biodiversity present in the tropical rainforest, and hence over here the diversity will be lower than that of the tropical rainforest. So these are the three subheadings under the temperate forest. So the next thing to be noted down is the tropical rainforest. So you will be very sure about the points under the tropical rainforest. So the tropical rainforest will be found near the equator. means the tropical rainforest will be found near the 0-degree line, and hence it will be diverse and there will be rich communities. We already saw about the diversity, it will be more than 50%, and then there will be rich communities inside these tropical rainforests. The temperature will be high and the humidity will be high. Humidity is the amount of moisture present in the atmosphere. So this humidity also will be high and the temperature also will be high. Because the temperature is high only, the humidity will be high because there will be more amount of evaporation. And the annual rainfall will exceed 200 centimeters. So this is very huge. So annual rainfall will be more than 200 centimeters. And then it will have tall trees at the top, that is the canopy level. So it will have tall trees, and at the bottom, at the underground or the undergrowth, it will be dominated by shrubs and herbs below. So at the top you can find tall trees and below you can find shrubs and herbs or epiphytes. Epiphytes are nothing but which hold on to the larger tree for the support. And then about the soil in the tropical rainforest is, it will be red and the soil will be thick. And the next thing to be noted down is, there will be high amount of leaching. Leaching is nothing but there will be huge rainfall over here, right? So the water content on this soil will be always full, and hence leaching will occur. Leaching is more amount of water will enter inside the soil. So this leaching will make this tropical rainforest unsuitable for agriculture. Over here you can't do agriculture. And then the undergrowth, already we saw about the undergrowth over here, it will be dominated by shrubs and herbs. The undergrowth is restricted because of low sunlight penetration. So for example, there are huge trees over here and hence the shrubs or herbs will be present below. So when sunlight is falling in the tropical rainforest, these huge trees will block the sunlight penetration and hence there will be restricted growth underneath. So this is called as the tropical rainforest. The next to deal with is the tropical seasonal forest. So from the word seasonal, you can very well understand it is the monsoon forest present in this kind of region. So the monsoon season is of wet and dry periods. So in a monsoonal climate like India, you can very well understand. So we have two distinguished period of climate, that is the wet climate and the dry climate. For example, you can find these type of monsoon forests or tropical seasonal forests in Southeast Asia, Central and South America, Northern Australia, Western Africa and in India. So in all these regions, you can find the tropical seasonal forest or monsoon forest. And the last topic to be noted down under a forest ecosystem is subtropical rainforest. So what is a subtropical rainforest? Before that, you should understand what is this term subtropical. So we have already dealt with the tropical region, that is the zone above the 0 degree, means the equator. So there is another zone between the temperate and the tropical zone called as the subtropical region. So this region is called as the subtropical rainforest. And hence in this region you may find epiphytes as common plant growth. I already said about epiphytes. Epiphytes are nothing but which hold on to the larger tree for their support. So in this subtropical rainforest, you may find epiphytes at a larger extent, and then animals are similar to the tropical forest over here. So what are animals are prevailing here? It will be prevailing here too. So these are the topics under the forest ecosystem. We dealt with coniferous under the forest ecosystem, temperate deciduous forest, temperate evergreen forest, temperate rainforest, and then tropical rainforest, and then tropical seasonal forest, subtropical rainforest. So we've done with tundra and forest ecosystem. So let's deal with Indian forest types. So we are done with forest ecosystem. Let's move into the Indian forest types. Coming to the Indian forest types, India has diverse range of forests. For example, you can find rainforest in Kerala and desert in Rajasthan and alpine pastures in Ladakh. Pastures are nothing but the green grass fields that are found on Ladakh. So India has a diverse range of forests. The climate, the soil type, the topography, the elevation determines the type of forest in that region. So India has diverse range of forests, and the climate, soil, topography, elevation determines the forest type. So moving to the types of forest in India, there are totally 16 types of forest found in India. So we are going to deal with all the 16. So the first one is tropical wet evergreen forest. So what is a tropical wet evergreen forest? So from this word you will know that the tropical wet evergreen forests are found near the equator. So it is found in Western Ghats, Andaman and Nicobar Island and the northeastern region. And then it has tall straight trees, and below it has shrubs and short trees too. So the tropical wet evergreen forest will be fully covered with dense trees and shrubs. And then moving to the types of trees in the tropical wet evergreen forest, you can find jackfruit, beetle, jamun, etc. So this is the key point to be remembered under tropical wet evergreen forest in India. So the next topic is tropical semi-evergreen forest. So what is this tropical semi-evergreen forest? So it is found in Western Ghats, Andaman and Nicobar Island and Eastern Himalayas. And then you can find a mixture of wet evergreen trees. So these trees will be found, and moist deciduous trees. So these are the two types of forest that we saw. So it is a mixture of wet evergreen trees and also moist deciduous trees. So these two combined together will put into a dense forest in that region. So we are done with tropical wet evergreen forest, tropical semi-evergreen forest. Now we are going to move to the tropical moist deciduous forest. So we already saw here, this is a combination of wet evergreen and moist deciduous. So we are going to see what is fully tropical moist deciduous forest. So you will find this throughout India except western and northwestern region. I mean in the topmost region and the western region you can't find this tropical moist deciduous forest. And then it will have tall broad trunks and deep roots, and it will have a layer of short trees and evergreen shrubs underneath. And then you can find trees like sal, teak, mango, bamboo and rosewood. So all these type of trees are found in tropical moist deciduous forest. So the types of trees inside the forest is to be noted down. And then the fourth kind of forest in India is littoral and swamp forest. So what is this littoral and swamp forest? So it is found in Andaman and Nicobar Island and then the delta region of Ganga and Brahmaputra region, and then the delta region of Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers. And then the roots of these plants or trees will have soft tissues. Why? Because it is to breathe in water, because it is of a swamp type. Swamp type will have more amount of water content in it, and hence the root will have soft tissues to breathe inside that water. The next forest type is tropical dry deciduous forest. So under tropical dry deciduous forest, it is found throughout the northern part except the northeastern region of India. So this tropical dry deciduous forest is found throughout the northern part in India except the northeastern region. And when you come below, you can find it in Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So when you come to the south, you can find this tropical dry deciduous forest in Andhra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. And the canopy does not exceed 25 meters. That is, the canopy is the tree top level. So when you see from the top, you can see the tree line. This is called as the canopy level. So this canopy level does not exceed 25 meters. And then the common trees found here are sal, acacia and bamboo. So we are done with the fifth type of forest. The sixth one is tropical thorn forest. So what is a tropical thorn forest? These forests is found in the black soil. So where and all you can find black soil, you can spot these tropical thorn forests. So in the tropical thorn forest, you can find these tropical thorn forests in north, west, central and southern India. And then the common trees are spruce and cactus. And these trees do not grow beyond 10 meters. So this point is very important. The trees found in the tropical thorn forest does not grow beyond 10 meters. And then the next type of forest is the tropical dry evergreen forest. So it is found in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka coast. So this tropical dry evergreen forest is found in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka coast. And then it will have hard leaved evergreen trees. So few deciduous trees are also found in here. Actually it is tropical dry evergreen forest, but you can find few deciduous trees also here. And then moving to the next Indian forest type, it is the subtropical broad leaved forest. So where it is found? It is found in the eastern Himalayas and western Ghats. Especially in the western Ghats, it is found in the Silent Valley. Silent Valley is in Kerala. So in Silent Valley, you can see the vegetation called as the fragrant grass. So you can see the fragrant grass which gives a good odor. And then in the eastern Himalayas, the flora has been affected due to shifting cultivation and forest fire. The people over there do shifting cultivation, that is they clear the forest for the purpose of agriculture, and then due to forest fire the flora has been hugely affected in the eastern Himalayas. So the common trees found in here are oak, alder, birch, etc. And then you can find orchids. Orchids are nothing but they are also climbers or creepers like vine. And then you can find bamboo and then you can find creepers too. So the next kind of forest is subtropical pine forest. So it is found on the steep dry slopes of Shivaliks and western and central Himalayas and found on the northeastern part of hills like Khasi, Naga and the Manipur hills. So the common types of trees found here are cher, oak, pine and then amla. So the next kind of forest is subtropical dry evergreen forest. It has prolonged hot and dry season. That is, the hot and dry season is for a long time and it will have cold winters. And the leaves over here, that is the leaves found in the subtropical dry evergreen forest are shining and it is found on the Shivalik hills. So the next kind of forest is montane wet temperate forest. So these kind of forests are found on the northern and southern part. In the northern part, it is found on the east of Nepal and runs into Arunachal Pradesh. And then the minimum rainfall over here is 2000 millimeters. And then the forest type in the north is confined to 3 layers. So the first layer is coniferous forest and the second layer consists of deciduous forest trees and the third layer consists of rhododendrons. Rhododendrons are a kind of tree. And then in the south, it is found in the Nilgiri hills. So in the south, the montane wet temperate forests are found on the Nilgiri hills. And when you compare the north and south, to the north is denser than the south. That is, in the north, the forest will be denser when it is compared to the south. So we are done with montane wet temperate forest. The next kind of forest is Himalayan moist temperate forest. And then the Himalayan moist temperate forest spreads from West Himalayas to East Himalayas. So in the West Himalayas, you will find the leaves are broad and in the East Himalayas, it will have heavy rainfall when compared to the West Himalayas. And hence, the rainfall is high, so the forest will be dense in structure. So over here, mostly coniferous trees will be found, where in the Himalayan moist temperate forest, mostly you can see coniferous trees. And then the next kind of forest is Himalayan dry temperate forest. So where it is found? It is found in the Lahul district and then in Sikkim. So over here, the trees are also coniferous. So in Himalayan moist temperate forest also the trees are coniferous. In Himalayan dry temperate forest also the trees are coniferous. The next kind of forest is subalpine forest. So it is found from Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. So Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh, you can see this subalpine forest, and then it will have heavy rainfall and high humidity, and hence you can find the growth of timber in the subalpine forest. And then the 15th type of forest is moist alpine scrub. So where it is found? It is found on Himalayas and the Myanmar border. So from Himalayas till the Myanmar border, you will find the moist alpine scrub, and then it has dense evergreen trees, and it is found with heavy rainfall also. So the last subheading under the Indian forest type is dry alpine scrub. So where is this dry alpine scrub found? It is found between 3000 meter to 4900 meter. So in this in between area, the dry alpine scrub is found. And then over here, dwarf plants will prevail. Dwarf plants are small plants. So especially black juniper and willows will be found in here. So the next thing is the importance of forest. So what will a forest give us? So the forest acts as a natural balance, and then it will purify the air, provide microclimate. Microclimate is nothing but if you are living in a hot region, if there is a presence of forest over there, that region will experience a cooler climate when compared to the outer region. So that is a microclimate. And then it prevents flood, and forest can be used for medicinal property and for the derivation of raw materials for the industry. So this is the limiting factor, but we have a lot of importance from the forest. So we are done with the forest ecosystem. Now we are done with the Indian forest type, and then the next topic to be dealt with is the deforestation. So what is deforestation? Deforestation is the indiscriminate felling of trees. Felling of trees is cutting of trees. So it is the indiscriminate felling of trees as a result of urbanization, industrialization and mining operation. So according to these aspects, that is urbanization, industrialization and mining operation, heavy depletion of forest is found. So that is called as deforestation. So deforestation is the indiscriminate felling of trees for the purpose of urbanization, industrialization and mining operation. And then the causes are various. So let us see the causes for deforestation. So in deforestation, the first cause is shifting cultivation. Already we have dealt with shifting cultivation. Let us deal it in detail. So in shifting cultivation, a land is taken and that forest over here is cleared. So the land over here is cleared and the vegetation in here is burnt. So in shifting cultivation, first a land is taken and it is cleared and the vegetation over there is burnt. And the ash is mixed to the soil and that adds nutrients to the soil. So this is called as shifting cultivation. And then what will happen is the people over there will raise crops for 2 to 3 years, and later what will happen is the land will get abandoned. So they leave the land like that and move to some other place to repeat the same process again and again. So it is repeated elsewhere, and the tools used over here in shifting cultivation is simple tools only. You don't need tractors and heavy machinery in shifting cultivation because it is performed mostly by the tribes. There are various names for shifting cultivation in various parts of the world and in various states in India. So one of the name is zoom cultivation. So shifting cultivation is otherwise called as zoom cultivation. So the next cause for the depletion of forest or deforestation is development projects. So the development projects like hydroelectric power, large dams, railway lines, roads, all these cause the economical aspects of our country, but it comes with a huge environmental problem also. So in development projects like hydroelectric, roads, rails and then large dams will increase the economic aspect of our country, but it comes along with environmental problems. And then the next cause is fuel requirement. So, since the population in India is increasing day by day, the firewood is needed for the huge population. Hence, deforestation is done at a huge level. And then the next cause for deforestation is raw material requirement. So, inside the forest, the wood is used for box industry, paper industry, furniture making, etc. and various other purposes. So, wood has to be cut down at a huge rate. And then the plants are used for medicinal purposes. So, from the forest, you are getting a lot of raw materials and that leads to deforestation. And then what are the other causes involved in deforestation? So, the other causes are overgrazing. So, animals keep overgrazing, and then for agricultural process, you clear the land, and then for mining operation, again you clear the forest, and for communication activities like building a tower, you clear the forest. So, these are the other causes. So, let's recall. So, in deforestation, it is the indiscriminate felling of trees as a result of urbanization, industrialization, mining operation, which leads to heavy depletion of the forest. So, what are the causes inside deforestation? It is shifting cultivation or zoom cultivation, development projects, fuel requirement, raw material requirement, and other causes. So, we are done with deforestation. So, we were dealing with deforestation. What are the effects of deforestation? First thing, forests recycle moisture from soil. That is, they take in the moisture from soil and pass it to the immediate atmosphere by transpiration. That is, from the leaves, this moisture goes to the atmosphere. So, this process will be affected when it is subjected to deforestation. And then immediate lowering of groundwater will take place because there will be no trees present in that region. And then the natural reuse cycle will be broken. And then the underground mining. Underground mining, a huge amount of timber will be used in the mines. Hence, this timber is derived from the forest and leads to deforestation. And then these abandoned mines lie in bad shape, which further leads to degradation of habitat in that place. So, these are all the effects of deforestation. So, we've done with deforestation. Let's move to grassland ecosystem. So, what is a grassland ecosystem? Grasslands are found where the rainfall is between 25 to 75 centimeters per year. So, where and all there are 25 to 75 centimeter per year the rainfall, there you can find the grasslands. And then this rainfall is not enough to support a forest, but it will be more than a desert. So, the intermediate land between the desert and forest will be the grassland. And then these grasslands are mostly found in the temperate climates. I already told you all about the zones of the earth, tropical, and these two regions are the temperate. So, grasslands will be mostly found in the temperate region. And in India specifically, where are these grasslands found? These grasslands are found in high Himalayan regions. And then the grasslands are of two types, that is steppe and the savannas. The steppes are found on the wet season and savannas are found on the dry season too. And then this steppe occupy a large area and the soil is always exposed in the grassland. So, if there is a grassland over here, the soil in between these grassland will be exposed, and sometimes there will be rock in here also. So, these are the types of grassland. So, moving to the types of grassland based on the climatic condition. So, this is very important. How do we categorize the grassland based on climatic condition? So, there are 6 types of grasslands in India, and then in this 4 types of grasslands are explained. So, the first type of grassland is semi-arid zone, second is the dry subhumid zone, third is the moist subhumid zone, and the fourth one is the humid montane region. So, these are the 4 types of grassland. So, where are these semi-arid zone found? So, it is found in the northern Gujarat, Rajasthan, Western Uttar Pradesh, Delhi and Punjab. So you have to remember these regions in order to remember the semi-arid zone. And then in the dry subhumid zone is found in the whole of Peninsula India. So in this whole region you can find the dry subhumid zone. And then where is the moist subhumid zone found? It is found in the Ganga alluvial plain in northern India. So hence it is moist because it is found in the alluvial plain. And then the last one under the type of grassland is humid montane region. So where it is found? It is found in Assam, Manipur, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir in the north. So these are the 4 types of grasslands. Let's deal with the importance of grassland. So what are the importance of grassland? So millions of animals feed on grass, that is the herbivore type feed on grass only. So grasses are primary producers and hence these livestock, right, they feed on the grass and this livestock gives raw materials for the village industries. So the village industries depend on these grasses for their survival because this livestock gives raw material. For example, sheep gives wool. So that wool industry would be present in the village. So that is a major economic source for that village. So grasses play a very important role. So in India, only 13 million hectares are under the category of permanent grasslands. And these permanent grasslands lie in highly degraded state. That is highly backward state or highly where the soil nutrient is very less in that state. So basically the importance of grasslands are millions of animals feed on grass and then the village industries depend on these livestock for the raw materials, and in India only 13 million hectares are under the permanent grasslands, but this area is highly degraded. And the next subheading is the impact of grazing. So what are the impacts of grazing? Heavy grazing leads to the quality degradation. That is, if there is a land over here and the grasses are degraded, I mean if there is a heavy grazing, so the quality will go down and hence it will be occupied by xerophytic plants and burrowing animals. This is the condition related to desert. So grassland will soon change into a desert. So that is one of the major impact of grazing. And the next point related to grazing is there will be absence of humus. So humus is the organic substances. When the plant or animal dies, it adds organic substance to the soil. So there will be an absence of humus that will lead to the puddling effect. So the water won't enter inside the soil and hence that will lead to the puddling effect on top of the soil, and that will give rise to surface runoff. That is, the water won't penetrate inside the ground. Instead it will run off and hence this will lead to soft erosion. And then the next point is the primary producers, I mean the grasses. When it is overgrazed, it will go down. I mean the grasses will go down in productivity, and then what will happen is the biogeochemicals will get affected. I mean the water, the carbon, the nitrogen cycle will get affected if the primary producers are not present in that place. And then the water and wind erosion. Already we saw there was surface runoff. So the water and there will be wind in that place, right? So the water and wind erosion will deteriorate the grassland microclimate. So this is very, very important. And then the next thing is the desert ecosystem. So we've done with grassland ecosystem. Let's move to the desert ecosystem. So what is a desert? So desert is something that is formed in the region of less than 25 centimeters of rainfall. So if the rainfall is less than 25 centimeter, it leads to desert ecosystem. So in a grassland ecosystem, 25 to 75 centimeters annual rainfall prevailing will lead to grassland ecosystem. But if the annual rainfall is less than 25 centimeters, it leads to desert ecosystem. So this lack of rain is due to stable high pressure zones. So always wind travel from high pressure to low pressure area. So if the wind is having moisture content, it will go shed in this low pressure area. So low pressure area will experience precipitation or rainfall, but this high pressure area won't experience rainfall. So this is the condition happening in a desert ecosystem. And then the next point is cactus are scattered everywhere in the desert ecosystem, and then in shallow region, I mean not very deep region, if there is a shallow region over here with salt deposits, salt grasses are common in that place. And then the water is less, but with irrigation in desert the water is less, but if you irrigate the land with good soil, it will lead to increasing productivity. That is, it will turn into a productive agricultural land. So dates and all are grown inside the desert ecosystem. I mean inside the desert with the help of irrigation. So if the water is very less in a desert but the soil is good, so you can provide irrigation to make the land into an agricultural land. For example, dates are grown in the desert. Next is adaptation. How do plants and animals get adapted inside the desert? So basically, desert plants should survive in hot and dry climate. Desert climate is always hot and dry. Hence, it has to conserve the water inside the plant. So these desert plants should go under the following process called as conservation of water. These points are very important because this is a 2018 prelims question. All these points were reflected. So here in the desert ecosystem, mostly you can see shrubs. Shrubs are nothing but they are the woody part of the stem. And then leaves will be absent for the desert plants mostly, and then the leaf and stem have water storing capacity in them because it has to conserve the water, right? And hence the leaf and stem will store the water inside the plant, and then mostly chlorophyll will be present on the leaf, but in desert plants the chlorophyll will be present in the stem also. In some desert plants the chlorophyll will be present in the stem also for the process of photosynthesis, and that leads to further conservation of water in the stem. And then later the root system is very important because there will be a well developed root system which spreads over a large area because the root should accommodate the water. So if the water is very deep down and the plant has been grown here, if the root spreads down only, it can take the water and supply to the plant. So the root system should always be well developed, and it is well developed in a desert plant system. So these are the adaptation for the plants inside the desert. So under the desert ecosystem, we saw about the plants. Now let us see about the animals. So the animals inside the desert are fast runners because there will be huge amount of heat on the land. So to escape from that heat, it will run very fast. And then it is nocturnal in habit. Nocturnal is they come out at the night time. So to avoid the sun's heat, they come out during the night time. And then the animals and birds have long legs, that is also to escape from the heat. And then the herbivores get water from the seeds they eat. So in a desert, normally the water content is very low, so that the herbivores which feed on the plants get the water from the seeds they eat. And then the camel is called as the ship of the desert because it can survive without water for a long period of time. And then coming down to the Indian desert, we have two types of deserts in India. One is the hot desert and another one is the cold desert. So let us deal with the hot desert. So under the hot desert, the Thar desert in India is called as the hot desert. And then the climate in this hot desert is excessively hot. I mean, it has excessive drought condition and scanty rainfall. That is, there will be no water and the rainfall will be very less, means scanty. And then the winter rains in North India rarely enter this region. So there will be winter rain in North India. So the Thar desert is to the west side in North India. That winter rain rarely touch this region, that is the Thar desert region. From November to March and April to June, that is from November to March, there is high variation in temperature. The hot and cold extremity will be high, and then it reaches below freezing point sometimes. And then from April to June, the heat is intense. There will be more amount of heat and scorching winds will prevail in that region. And in the Thar Desert, the humidity is very low. Humidity is the amount of moisture present in the atmosphere. So that will be very low. And then coming to the flora and fauna in the Indian desert, there are two types of flora in the Indian desert. The first one is which depend on rainwater, and the second one which depends on the substratum water, that is the water that is found below the soil layer. So these are the two types of flora found in the Indian desert. So this flora which depends on rainwater is of two types. The first one is the ephemerennials and the second one is the rain perennials. These ephemerennials die soon because they give fruit, they give flower and die at a sooner rate. These rain perennials are visible above ground only on rainy season. I mean, to escape from the heat, they will be under the ground. So when there is rainy season, it will come out of that ground only during the rainy season. So there are two types of flora in the desert system, that is our Indian hot desert. First type of flora depend upon the rainwater, second type depends upon the substratum water. And in this type which depends on rainwater is of two types. The first one is the ephemerennials which die soon, and the second one is the rain perennials which is visible above the ground only on rainy season. And then this thing which depends on the substratum water has well developed root system. So these are the two types of flora found in our Indian desert system, that is our hot desert. So what are the types of fauna, animals found in the desert, in our hot desert? So the great Indian bustard, which is very famous, is found in our Indian hot desert, and then it is nesting ground for the flamingos. And then the very famous Asiatic wild ass is present in the remote part of Gujarat. So these are the fauna present in our Indian hot desert. So let's come again. Great Indian bustard, and it is ground for the flamingos. Asiatic wild ass is found in the remote part of Gujarat, that is the Rann of Kutch area, and then it is a ground for the migration, fly away for many birds. So this is the points to be remembered under the Indian desert, that is our Indian hot desert. So now let's move into the Indian cold desert. So cold deserts are otherwise called as temperate deserts. So where are these cold deserts found in India? It is found in Ladakh, Leh, Kargil and Spiti Valley. So in all these regions, the cold deserts are found. And then it is not affected by monsoon because they lie on the rain shadow region. What is a rain shadow region? For example, if there is a mountain here and the wind, when it is carrying moisture and coming, it hits this region and the rainfall or the precipitation happens on this part of the mountain. So when this wind goes up and goes to the other side, over here the precipitation will be absent because all the moisture are taken away on this side. So this side is called as the rain shadow region and this side is called the windward side. So our cold desert is found in the rain shadow region. I mean the Ladakh, Leh, Kargil and Spiti Valley is found in this region called as the rain shadow region, and they cannot experience the monsoons. And then it is not suitable for growth of plants because the condition is very cold over there and they lack nutrients, and hence the plant growth is limited. Let's move to the characters of desert. So the characters of desert are arid condition, means it won't have moisture content in its atmosphere, and then the cold desert region will experience heavy snowfall and the soil will range from sandy to loamy and the pH level will be neutral to slightly alkaline. And then this soil has low retention capacity. I mean the water holding capacity will be low because it is mostly sandy and hence the water will be left off. So one of the main characteristics of the desert is wind erosion. So if there is a stone here, the wind keeps eroding the top part or the top layer of the stone, and this is very common in the desert. And then the growth of vegetation is very slow in a desert because the soil is sandy and the nutrient level will be very low. And then going on to the biodiversity of the desert, the cold desert has Asiatic ibex. Ibex is nothing but Nilgiri Thar is otherwise called as ibex, and then it has wild yak, and then going on to the flora, it has pine, oak, birch, etc. So this is the biodiversity found inside a desert system. And then we are done with the desert ecosystem. Now let's move into the desertification topic. So what is desertification? Desertification is the destruction of biological potential of the land. So if there is a land over here, you destroy the potential of this land, and hence this is called as desertification. So in arid and semi-arid region, the restoration of the ecosystem is slow because take this as an arid or semi-arid region, it won't have moisture content in its atmosphere, and hence the restoration capacity of this arid and semi-arid region is low. And then example of desertified area in India is Rajasthan, Gujarat, Punjab and Haryana, where the potential of the land has been brought down. And then moving to the causes for the desertification, there is population pressure, means the population keeps increasing day by day, and then you need more land to get yourself adapted, and hence there is a population pressure. You need landfills to put your waste materials on, and hence that leads to desertification. And then overgrazing will leave the land useless, so that also leads to desertification. And desertification causes due to agricultural increase also and development activities, and the last thing is deforestation. So through all these aspects the desertification will occur. And then moving to the status of Indian desertification. So how is India desertified? I mean the potential of the land has been brought down in that area. So nearly 70% of the dry land has been desertified, and then on a whole 32% in India is undergoing land degradation. So these are the two key points to be noted down under the status of Indian desertification. And next thing is the control measures. So how can you control this desertification? So India is a signatory to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCD. India is a signatory to the UNCCD. And then National Action Plan to Combat Desertification was taken down on 2001, and then National Mission for Green India was done, and then Integrated Watershed Management Program was implemented, and lastly you should note down the very important point called as the afforestation. So afforestation is very important. So when you cut down a tree, you definitely need to place another tree in that place. So there is a balance in the nature. We have dealt with desertification. So let's move into the last topic of this chapter, Indian State of Forest Report. So what is Indian State of Forest Report? So the State of Forest Report is published by Forest Survey of India, FSI. This is very important. Who is publishing the State of Forest Report? It is published by Forest Survey of India, FSI, and it is published on a biennial basis. So it is published 2 years once. So you have to note this point down very importantly, and they are publishing since 1987. So the latest report was 2017 report. Previously 2015 has been recorded. And then the maximum increase in forest cover was in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Jammu and Kashmir. Forest cover is nothing but when you take the terrestrial land cover, the trees grown on that area is called as the forest cover. So the forest cover has been increased, that is maximum amount of forest cover has been found in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Jammu and Kashmir. And in Madhya Pradesh, the forest cover has been increased recently, and after Madhya Pradesh, it was Arunachal Pradesh and then Chhattisgarh. In terms of percentage, Mizoram was found to have 88.93% of forest cover, and after Mizoram, it was Lakshadweep which had 84.56% of forest cover. And in our recent survey, that is on the 2017 survey, we have found that there has been an increase of 1.36% of forest cover when compared to 2015. So this is the update about Indian State of Forest Report, and then we have done with the last topic. So let's move to chapter 4, which deals with aquatic ecosystem in our upcoming video. Thank you for watching.